together on this first Mass, wake Mass for our brother Luis Manuel Virtucio or Mendy. And we join the family in their grief and we ask the Lord to console them. We join Richie, CJ, Chase, and Gina. By the little information I got about Mendy, I think he was a person who could be considered as one who lived prepared. A deeply spiritual man who had a deep devotion to Padre Pio. And it so happened that his ninth day will be on the feast of Padre Pio. A good sign and a good assurance for the family that now he is with God.
I'm now in my 80s. I cannot find the right words to put it, to express my grief and bereavement in the hours of sorrowful moments of my life because of the sudden death of my eldest son, whom I really expected to be within my side up to my dying moment. More than a heavyweight, it's really a Herculean way of testing the threshold of my bearings, whether I can hold on for this passing away of my son. Masakit ang mapitasan ng bunga. He is my son, my legal friend, and I trained him really so hard to handle the situation in case that something happened to me. But you see, it's the other way around. Kaya sabi ko, Lord, I'm not blaming you. So honestly, for those who are still having their sons and daughters, love them the most while you have time. I do not want to see you crying. Please, Richie, you are more than a daughter to me. You know that. Even the lifetime of your mother-in-law, the sacrifices and what you have undergone, because I've been telling you, do not spoil my son. I see how you take care of him. Saludo ko sa iyo, Richie. Saludo. At I told, I'm sorry. Just supposed to compose myself. I'm sorry. I told my youngest daughter, I pity your Atty Richie. She is more than a picture of not only a devastation, but I do not know the right word to express her grief and sorrowful moments in her life, in the uncalled for and surprisingly passing away of my son. CJ, and his wife, Jewel, Gina, and Chase. Be coherent, cohesive, united in facing the realities of life with your mom. Be always there at her beck and call. Please, iisa ang inyong magulang. Minsan lang binigay ng Diyos yan. Pagyamanin ninyo. Ako nakikiusap sa inyo. Kita ko ang paghihirap niyan nung maging at the point in time na si Mendy ay aalis papuntang Amerika. Doon ko nakita si Richie at sabi ko sa asawa ko, yan ang gusto ko na ipanik ng aking anak sa ating tahanan. She is more than worthy of emulation as a wife and as a mother. Richie, I love you so much and your siblings. Always feel free because my time is short. I'm always here at your beck and call. Nawala ang aking anak. Naririto ang ama na nakatindig pa. Hanggat ako ay nakatindig, Richie, huwag kang mag-aatubili. I'm always here. I'm a part and parcel of your problem. No matter how great and Herculean problem that will be, we will be facing it together like what Mandy did in all other family situation that came into your life. Maraming salamat po, and I hope I never take too much of your time. Thank you so much for your TLC, tender loving care and concern. Marami po salamat.
Thank you po, Tito Nards. On behalf of the Pascual family, we appreciate you sharing Mendy with us. All of us are thankful that Mendy was part of our lives. So thank you very much for your kind words, and you can be sure that we will take care of our sister and our nephews and nieces. Maraming salamat, Virtucios, and hopefully we can wade through this struggle. Maraming salamat po.
But the gospel tells us, since we do not know when the encounter will take place, we, like Mendy, who died quite unexpectedly and quite soon enough, only 58 years old, and Richie and Mandy are anticipating there would have been 35th wedding anniversary. It seems that Jesus is inviting us to not so much about preparation as it is about preparedness. One commentator says it is not about getting ready, but rather living prepared.
Papa Mendy was vibrant,
Playful,
amiable,
Passionate,
generous,
cheerful, happy,
Mabibo!
Napakagaling na tao.
Selfless.
brother, intelligent,
Pinakamabait na pamangkin.
The most generous.
the best nephew I ever had.
Mapagmahal. Kuya Mendy was such a joker.
Mandy, lively,
matalino,
simple person, hardworking,
matulungin,
approachable, bubbly, younger,
Smart.
Joker. So mabait. Respectful.
outgoing,
Funny,
colorful,
optimistic,
Mendy is an awesome uncle.
Kuya Mendy is the greatest and dearest brother.
energetic,
He is always jolly.
Generous,
Big bro, Sir Mendy.
Mabait.
fun-loving,
Charismatic.
Man of God.
Makulit.
Loving. Cariñoso. Approachable.
Mr. Congeniality.
Attorney Dekang-Deka.
Jolly.
Eloquent.
Maligali.
Ito.
Funny.
So if you will see, I like taking pictures. Pagka meron na siyang hawak na beer or wine, titingin na niya sa akin. Post na siya ng post niya. Kahit walang sabihin siya, alam niya, I will take that shot. So ang dami-dami kong kuha sa kanya na ganyan. Gustong-gusto niya yon. He also loves dancing the swing. Lumabas ba yan sa TV kung maalala niyo sa Penthouse Live? Ganyan niya ka-love sumayaw. Medyo si Richie, hindi masyado mahilig magsayaw yan, napilitan because yung asawa niya napakahilig magsayaw. Okay? He is also one skill that we are so amazed in is his ability to hold 1 cup of coffee and stay in Starbucks for 3 hours, 4 hours, just waiting for Richie to come back from shopping. Walang reklamo, wala kang maririnig, hindi nagsi-cellphone, nakatunganga lang. Skill yun. Napakagaling ni Mendy tumunganga sa Starbucks. Whether it's in the US, again in Italy, or here in the Philippines, Starbucks is Mendy's best friend. Talaga naman kami amazed, lalo na somebody like me na parang may ADHD. Imagine mo nakaupo ka sa isang lugar for 3 to 4 hours na walang reklamo. That is Mendy to us. Okay? Ang galing din niya magbakla-baklaan. He knows how to play the gay role. No? He is really the life of the party. And I think one thing that we will never forget is that he is really a clown. Whenever we're together, eventually everybody rallies around him. Everybody will, siya na yung namamangka. Siya na yung buhay ng party. And we allow him because he truly is a funny guy. Tawa lang kami yung tawa. Even my mom, no? Yeah, it breaks generations, no? Nakakatawa siya for yung kids namin, for our parents, for us. All generations across the board. Mendy is a very funny person. And I think one of the last ones that I remember from him is that we never travel na hindi niya nakakalimutan mag-workout. Kahit anong country, kahit anong hotel, hahanapin nila yung may gym. They have to work out. I think this is where the irony comes in because we always saw him as being very physically fit, always trying to be healthy, and yet this happened to him. Even though the irony has struck us, even though na nakakalungkot yung what happened to him in the end, we were all shocked. Brother Mendy, you can be rest assured that in our hearts and in our minds, we will always remember the funny man. We will always remember the jokes, the smiles, and the laughter that you brought into our family. Maraming salamat, bro. Forever we will remember you. Don't worry, we will take care of your family. Hanggang dito lang. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, bro. You nailed it. That's how Mendy to the eyes of the Pascuals. Funny, forever, the star of a conversation, of our gatherings. Pag nandiyan na si Mendy, hindi pwedeng hindi namin malaman. Kasi talagang may eksena, but in a good way.
Living ready as our brother Mendy was. Let me illustrate this point by a well-known anecdote which you probably have heard already about a monk who was asked if he had 24 hours to live, how would he be spending it? And the monk replied, as he was assigned to sweep the yard of the monastery, he replied that he would do the usual things he would do every day, such as sweeping the yard. That is to say that we shouldn't do things very differently if we live every single day of our lives as if it were our last. To live ready is to always live in the presence of the Lord. That way, we are always prepared, vigilant, and awake when the Master comes at an hour we least expect.
The first one who would like to share is someone that would like to give a message from an in-law's perspective, and who can do better than that, than the ever die-hard fan of Mendy, my mother. Take it away, Mom.
Mendy is a very joyful man, always the head of the party, always jolly, ever very fond of giving. But perhaps he wanted me to make it certain that he is not all about that. He's just very spiritual. When we came to the Philippines after a long time to the United States, and he had decided to stay permanently in the Philippines, he had no job for 1.5 years. I gave her a novena to Saint Pancratius, and then he was surprised to find after his novena that there were so many offers being given to him. He selected San Miguel to be his job site. And from then on, Richie was telling me that Randy became a very devout devotee of Saint Pancratius. I was very pleased. I could not imagine that a man like him would be a very good devotee. Last year, we went to Saint Padre Pio. I was intending to have my children with me because I promised Saint Padre Pio that I would bring my children to him. But insistence, Richie was very insistent that she would bring her husband with her. We stayed in Redondo, the birthplace of Padre Pio, for 3 days, always hearing Mass every day and going to the shrine and having devotions with us an incorrupted body. And then we went to, since we were already in France, we went to Italy and then France, we decided to go to Our Lady of Lourdes. Mandy and Joel had to go to to have a bath in the healing water of Lourdes. And Mandy was surprised. What's the meaning of that? I was telling him that he will be cured of any disease. At the airport, while we were waiting for the train, and quite an old lady, a very beautiful old lady, dressed in white gown and with a bandana wrapped around her hair, approached us. But she selected Mendy. She approached Mendy and tapped him on his shoulders and then asked him, "Do you need help?" And so they said that we really needed help. So and after some time, the lady vanished. Mendy and Richie were crying. They were thinking that she had been the Blessed Mother. Then when Mandy got sick, I was telling Richie, do you remember when we were in the airport that the lady offered her help to him? Why don't you ask her now for the help? Perhaps that was a sign that he will really need help. Last December, we went a trip to Our Lady of Guadalupe. Mandy would have been with us, but since he was needed to go home because of work, she permitted Richie to be with us. But thinking Mandy would get sick out of our mind. Then we've been praying very hard to the Blessed Mother, perhaps thinking that his wife would be able to help, to ask the Blessed Mother to help him. Perhaps he was feeling something different already. I know that's why I've been begging the Blessed Mother to help him, because I know how devoted he is. And I promised the Blessed Mother that if ever he will be cured, I will bring him to her shrine in Akita and Naju. That's why at 5 o'clock in the morning, when Vichy called me and told me that Mendy was gone, I rushed to the altar of the Blessed Mother, asking her, "Why did you disappoint me? Why did you not hear my prayer?" And then I received a message that not all that you ask for are for His own good. And then I also heard a message from Mandy. He said, "Thank you, Mama Chit, for all your prayers. Now I'm better off this way because I have no pains." And then I realized that we cannot have everything that we want from God. As long what is good for us will be given to us. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you will realize that there is a truth in the saying that the good I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you for sharing the spiritual side of Mendy, and thank you for always praying for him. Now we go to the second sharer in the eulogy. This would be one of Mendy's sisters, the second born in a family of 7, Mrs. Beth Virtucio Caballo, the queenie of the family.
I am Mary Beth for short, his younger sister. First and foremost, I see Kuya Mendy as the family man. He loved his family profoundly. He was a devoted husband, son, father, brother, uncle, and friend. When a sibling passes away, it feels like you have lost a piece of yourself. Because among the siblings, Kuya Mendy and I are the closest. We're the closest. We grew up together, played together, spent summer vacation in our hometown at Candelaria, Quezon during our childhood days. We cover each other's kalokohan, such as cutting classes. He's also my chaperone whenever I attend parties from high school to college. But little did our parents know that we later go on our separate ways and attend each other's gimmicks. Ironically, Kuya Mendy was a natural-born athlete. Gulat kayo, no? Hindi nyo expected na athlete si Kuya Mendy. Well, he was at Don Bosco, where he graduated elementary and high school. He loved sports. He joined the team football, swimming, and basketball. And mind you, his height never mattered. Actually, he was the smallest. He's the shortest among the players, but he's a very good basketball player. And I remembered before, of course, he's a very excellent dancer. We all know that. He's very good at swing and strut. I remembered he joined a competition at DLSU where he graduated college. So, isa siya sa representative ng De La Salle. Mag-strut siya. So, he's really very vain. He's really very vain to the point na nung meron pa siyang buhok, makapal pa yung buhok niya before, he would apply mousse and blow dry her hair. Parang i-picture niyo si John Travolta, ganon. He wants it medyo bouffant yung hair niya dito. And he would put a lot of spray net. Siguro kaya yun ang reason kaya nakalbo siya. Anyway, so he joined the competition kasi cash yung prize. Okay. He won the second place. The first place was won by the former master rapper, the late Francis Magalona, who happens to be his schoolmate at Don Bosco. I cannot recall that we ever fought or even bickered. He helps me with my homeworks and paperworks because he's very good at that. We shared each other's secrets from adulthood, from childhood to adulthood. And he loves calling me Queenie because ako talaga yung original Queenie. Way back 1988, we had a family trip to Houston to visit Kuya Mendy and his pregnant wife, Richie. Richie was about to give birth to CJ. So we were there, and then he gave me the best room sa house nila. So I was alone. Solo ko yung room while my mom, Bernard, Besol, and Dino shared the other room. Kuya Mendy was always easily approachable whenever anyone encountered problem, and that includes me. He's always generous and kind, Kuya, to us. He's the joker, we all know that, and he's the life of the party. Actually, he is the party. Kasi kung wala siya sa party, boring. So he is the party. As a lawyer, he's better than my dad. And I'm sure my dad would totally agree to that. He always gave the best legal advices. Kuya Mendy's strength was inspiring to us. He endured anything, everything that life offered. There came a time wherein we were all shocked and concerned about his health, especially physically, when he had his osteoporosis. That was December 2019. I was shocked and I couldn't help but shed tears, and I even hugged him. And you know what? He just responded with a smile. Okay lang ako, Beth. Don't worry. Okay lang ako. You know, si Kuya Mendy, he never made a big fuss of his ailment, of his health. And we respect his privacy. In his later days of his life, Kuya Mendy continued to make us laugh in our Viber group chats. Pero hindi namin alam, though deep inside, he was already in excruciating pain. We didn't know that. Typical joker eh. He was laughing outside, but weeping inside. Kuya Mendy, you did your best to remain compliant with all your treatments. You followed all the doctor's advices. Yet you have suffered enough. I'm sure you're in a much better place now. Please kiss and hug Mom for us. I will always remember you as a strong, kind, loving, understanding, cool, generous Kuya with a great sense of humor. And the many people still left behind whose lives you touched positively. Kuya Mandy, this is the hardest part, saying goodbye. We will miss you so dearly, just like Mom. But we will always remember you with respect, admiration, and love. Forever. Always. Rest in peace, Kuya Mendy.
Thank you, Beth. It was a very wonderful eulogy. We never knew that athlete pala siya, and I'm sure your dad wouldn't mind that Mendy was a better lawyer. We now come to the okay. So we now come to the third sharer. I'm sure everyone is in the dark as to what really happened because you never saw anything in Facebook that that Mendy was already sick. So I think the best one to explain what happened and also to share how he was in the almost 35 years as her dear, dear husband would be my sister, Richie.
To set the record straight of what happened to Mendy. Mendy, on September of 2019, was diagnosed to have osteoporosis. Exactly the same month, September of last year. He got better after treatment and medicine that he took, that we were able to spend Christmas with his eldest son, CJ, in the US. This March, he thought he was getting better and better every day. But when the lockdown started this March, he felt some pain again. The pain that is similar to the first one, which was a compression fracture in his spine. I asked him that we should seek for a second opinion. After a battery of tests, it's not osteoporosis, but Mendy was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. Multiple myeloma is a kind of cancer in the bone marrow. That's why his bones are weak because of osteoporosis, and it became weaker because of that cancer cells that's coming from the bone marrow. Because of so much faith, now our fear turned to hopes that finally proper treatment can start. Unfortunately, he didn't make it past the first cycle of chemo. At that point, his body was too weak. On that fateful day, he suffered an acute respiratory failure. He went the way he wanted. Seemed everything was planned. September 15, Feast of Our Lady of Sorrow, and his 9th day, September 23, Feast of Padre Pio, of which he was a devotee. He got his wish of expiring not in the hospital, but at home. He got his wish of not letting anyone see him go. Even me, he pushed me away that moment he was catching for his last breath. Who wouldn't love Mendy? He is a man full of energy and life. Kahit saan party mo dalhin yan, wala ka nang gagawin kundi makinig sa kanya. He never runs out of stories to tell. Minsan I find him maingay, but people love him for that. Can you imagine how our day goes? I'm the quiet one and he's the noisy one. Isa lang request ko sa kanya every morning. Please lang, keep quiet. I always tell him it's too early for noise. Pinagbibigyan naman niya ako. Kasi for me, ayoko nang maingay pag umaga. Mendy is a person whose life is one big routine. Nakaschedule ang buhay namin. Fridays is our date day. During our younger times, we used to go to bars on Friday night, which turned to movie nights as we got older. Saturdays naman is a family day. When our kids are younger, we are always in Rockwell. We hear anticipated Mass, and that's the time when we see his family. But as my kids got older, it turned to become a movie day again. Kahit araw-araw pa kaming manood, okay lang sa kanya, because Mendy is a movie addict. He can watch back to back to back to back just to waste time. While of course I go around and shop. Kahit abroad, I make sure that wherever I want to go, dapat may movie house. Iiwanan ko lang siya doon. He will ask me how long I will take because it depends on how many movies he will watch. Kung hindi naman, like my brother said yesterday, he can stay in Starbucks the whole day to wait for me. Hindi yan mahilig magtelepono. Mas gusto pa niyang tumanga, just sit down and do nothing. Halos buong araw yan, mind you. He never complains kahit buong araw lang siya nakaupo while waiting for me. Ang importante lang sa kanya, may kape at may CR. Kasi siya mahilig mag-CR. Even on our travels abroad, his first question is always, saan ang Starbucks? Mendy is not fond of traveling. Yun ang akala niya. When traveling became cheap at some point in time, my family and I so often go on trips. Noong una, nagko-complain yan kasi nga hindi siya mahilig daw mag-travel. Eventually, siya na ang nagayaya umalis. Being a health buff, he loves to explore the country we are in. He would rather walk than ride the train. He has a point. There are more things you can see by walking. Dahil nga Mendy's life is one big routine, going to the gym is a must for him every morning. Even if he is tired or partied previously the night before, he still has energy to wake up and go. It's just so sad that no matter how much he took care of his body, eventually, he still got sick. He tried to fight that feeling until the end. Despite in terrible pain, he still managed to travel to spend Christmas last year in the US with his eldest. Didn't know that it was the last Christmas that we will be spending as a whole family. His kids are his priority. It always was. It always what the kids want. In choosing a restaurant or buying food for delivery, lagi ang tanong mo, ano ang gusto ng mga anak mo? He loves his children so much. When they were younger, he is the one watching them play in power station even if it takes hours and hours, while of course, I again. Magbabantayan without complaining. Basta anything about his children, he's always there for them. A spoiler he is, especially to me. I always get what I want. He even forces me kahit iniisip ko pa lang. Magagalit yan pag hindi ko binili. I lead, he follows. Parang hindi Pero truly, Mendy is such an efficient husband. I dictate and decide on everything. He works and I spend. He leaves all the decision to me. This made him think that I am a very independent and strong woman. When he got very sick, lagi niyang sinasabi sa akin, I think it's better that I go first. I cannot do what you can do. Kaya ko na daw to be left alone. Kaya ko na daw. But yes, I thought kaya ko. But when I'm now in this situation, hindi pala. I doubted myself again. The feeling of him not being with me scared me. I felt robbed of the opportunity to be spending more time with him. I prayed and haggled to ask for additional 5 years. Or even 2 years when I saw his condition deteriorating. I thought he can even reach to see his kids graduate next year. But he did not. He did not make it. It was selfish of me to ask for more years when I can see he was in so much pain. It was selfish of me to think only of myself while he suffered. It was selfish of me to always tell him to fight and hold on. But I can't imagine life without him. I would rather see him sick than not seeing him at all. But I have to learn to accept and let him go. I know he is in a better place now. I know he would not be happy to see me cry every time. He wanted me to be strong for our children. Hard as it may be. Goodbye, my lovey. I will always treasure every moment you have spent with me. Physically, you're gone, but I know you will continue to watch over us. I will promise to fulfill your wish, especially plans for your children. I will be okay. I promise to get off this feeling soon. I can hear you saying, "Hoy, mais ka." Okay, Lovey, I will. Soon, I will. I miss you so much. Please talk to me in my dreams. Please tell me you are fine and happy. I love you so much. Until we meet again.
Ipagpatawad mo aking kapangahasan. Pinipili ko sana'y maintindihan. Alam kong kailan lang tayo nagkatagpo, ngunit parang sa'yo ayaw nang lumayo. Ipagpatawad mo at kung may naguguluhan, di ko masisi na ako pagtakhan. Di nga dapat ako pagtiwalaan. Alam kong kailan lang tayo nagkatagpo, ngunit parang sa'yo ayaw nang lumayo. Ipagpatawad mo, minahal kita agad.